Hi, thank you so much for having me. I apologize for having a short time because we have 24/7 coverage and I will have to go to the studio soon. But I think it's important to stress three major points. First of all, I think I've been covering the news in Israel for over 30 years. I started when I was very young, right after the army. And we've been covering everything from the Oslo Accords, the Intifadas, all the rounds in Gaza. We had the second Lebanese war, and whatever. And I do not remember a more, on the one hand, troubling, I wouldn't say catastrophic, but really, really shaking event in the history of Israel. And also, um, I hear a lot of officials from the army saying that this is, and members of cabinet saying that in a way, this is the most important battle, second to the independence war. And not because that there is an ability of the Syrian tanks like in 73 to come down from the Golan Heights and invade physically Israel, because this is a war that is actually attacked. The war has attacked the civilian life. It's attacked the people who woke up in the morning and saw their sheer existence being threatened. And the only way for people the day after to believe that they can live in Israel, they can live in kibbutzim, they can live around the borders, they can live and raise their kids here and see a life here in Israel is only if this war or this period ends with a totally different outcome than what we've been used to. And it's heartbreaking in a sense that many people, including myself, were under the impression that there was a way to reason, not accept, but reason with the enemies around our borders. Okay, so if Hamas is a terror organization but is in control of civilian life, then they would come to terms with things that would improve the life of the people in Gaza. It means you can find a way to reason with them, and enjoy the quiet in order to make sure that Israel has a booming high-tech industry and has economy and can support its military needs, and also enable the Israelis to have a sense of a normal life and be the miracle that they are, the startup nation. And this has been shattered. And another thing that has been shattered, of course, is the confidence that the Israeli public had in their army, in their intelligence, and in the belief that there is someone, aside from the political establishment, that will take care of them. Because we're here after a really very troubling month of divide and of this political turmoil. And this was already the earth was already starting to move under the feet of the Israelis, and this was like just a knockdown. Now, let me talk to you quickly about what is happening now. Of course, one important thing that has changed, I think, the sentiment since October 7th are two things: the unity government, the fact that Gantz and Eisenkot are now sitting next to Netanyahu and Gallant and helping them make the right decisions is important for Israelis, but it's also important for Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas, because they miscalculated there. And the second thing, which I think is going to change the whole course of things, is, of course, when I heard President Biden in the studio, I had tears in my eyes, and I try not to be sentimental when I'm in the studio. This support, the fact that the president is here tomorrow, the fact that we have, it's not just words, it's actions. We have the carriers, we have the ammunition, we have the support, is a game changer. How big of a deterrence will it be? We'll only know in the coming months, because I think there is a consensus among all the military establishment, political establishment, and I think with the US and all our allies, that Hamas has to go. You cannot have no Israeli is going to live anywhere near the southern border if Hamas is in control. We've tried that. We saw the catastrophic result. So Hamas has to go in a way. Now, you have to understand, for years, Israel has obtained from doing this exact thing they're going to do in the coming days, because it was the day after, and the casualties, the hundreds of soldiers killed in this maneuver, the outcome for economy. These were things that kept Israel from going ahead and dealing with Hamas. This has all been taken off the table. That's where it's going. But the biggest issue now is the northern border. What will happen in the northern border? Now, the intelligence say that they believe that Hezbollah is playing, but hasn't decided yet to go into a full-scale war, and that they believe that Iran hasn't planned this master decoy and just waiting for us to go in there and trying to hit us on both fronts. But of course, when you talk about intelligence, and when the politicians and the cabinet needs to hear these assessments of the intelligence, they remember that just 11 months ago, we know where these assessments got. So this is an issue. But so far, Israel has decided. There were a lot of debates, but the prime minister has decided that we are going to focus on Hamas. We're going to focus on this, and we're going to try and do whatever we can not to get to a full war. Hezbollah not have to struggle with these two fronts. Now, you have to understand, the rockets that we see from the south are not the rockets we will see if and when Hezbollah engages in war on Tel Aviv and on the civilian population. It's going to be a different game. There are going to be a lot of tragedies, a lot of losses, and frankly, it's going to cause the Israeli public, they're going to be shaken. Israeli public is going to be shaken. I have to tell you, this is really going to be a scenario that we've tried to avoid as much as possible. But now we hear from the army, we hear from the cabinet that they are ready, they are prepared, they're on the border. The fact that we have the American support here is very important, because we don't need boots on the ground, we need missiles in the air. And the Biden administration has made it clear that if and when we face this multi-zone war, they will be there to help us with the missiles, which is very important, very reassuring. But again, these are very hard days in Israel. Everyone knows someone who's lost someone. You know, I'm going from one funeral to the studio and then back to the studio to the Shiva and whatever. We all have kids down south. I just got a note from my son that he's closing his phone. I don't know where, what. So it's very, very troubling times. But I think that the unity of Israel, the fact that when it comes to the armies, well, Israel is indeed the strongest army in the region, and it's up to the resilience of the civilian population. It's about the international support, and it's about our political system and our political leaders understanding where we are, how we got here, how grave the situation is, and for them to put aside all their political issues and focus on making sure that we have an Israel that we can go ahead and make the miracle that it is.
All right, thank you, Dana. Obviously, you're busy. We appreciate you taking the time, and we appreciate your accurate.
I want to thank you. I just want to say, I want to thank you. I think the Israeli people feel that they are taken care of by the American brothers and sisters, their sisters and brothers in the U.S. and we see what they do for what they do, your commitment, your recruitment, your enthusiasm, the understanding that we're not alone. Know that it has a lot of, I mean, and the fact that you are doing what you're doing has also a lot of influence on the administration vis-a-vis the 2024 campaign. So thank you on behalf of everyone here in Israel, and keep doing what you're doing.